Hi, stream. How are you guys doing today? Welcome to episode 2 of the Hookah Smiths. Today we're going to be talking about bowls. But first we have some random bullshit to get out of the way. So if you guys could please type in chat so we can see what the fuck our chat box looks like now. Holy shit, that looks bad. Alright, so... Alright, Alex has no audio? Fuck. I definitely turned you on. Because it's all the same audio. Hold up. Does Alex have audio now? God damn, you're so fucking loud. Alright. Can you guys hear Alex now? God, it's so loud. Yeah, but then I get it, but it's directly tied to that. No, he doesn't. He still doesn't. Yeah, oh my god. Let me turn this shit down. Let me just dox everyone real quick. Where the fuck do I change your volume in here? No, not that. Your volume on here is like totally fine. Alright. Can you guys hear him now? Double check OBS. Alex. No words. What the fuck? This is your audio. Your audio is mixing with mine. What? Yeah, that's how it was last time too. Make you a new one. All right. I don't even know how the fuck to... Like, what are you talking about? Audio input capture, output capture.
Okay. Headphones, right?
Yeah. Okay. Can you go?
Okay. Now you should be able to hear me. It's probably really loud. You should be able to hear me though. Can you hear me? There it is. Okay.
Is it too loud?
Is it really loud?
God,
is it too loud?
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
that's the question.
You're so loud in my line. Super loud. All right. Oh well, I can actually turn you down in OBS.
Okay. At least there's audio now.
Say something.
We wasted a total of 4 minutes. Well, you can get this working now. Today I'm drinking some beer, so I'll be a little tipsy.
All right. Are you guys? Is he at a decent volume now?
I hope this is better.
I need all 9 of you to tell me if his audio is better. More importantly, if you're smoking, tell us what you're smoking.
Alright. It seems to be good now.
You're still so fucking loud.
Well, give me 1 second.
Alright, he's going away for 1 second. So, audio is level across the 2 of you. Good.
Just tell them what we're doing today.
So yeah, today we're just going to be talking about bowls. We've got a few different things to talk about with bowls. I could probably talk about bowls for hours on end just myself. So with the two of us, we're just gonna kind of try and keep it with that hour limit mark that we're aiming for. So yeah, we're gonna show you guys our favorite bowls, tell you why we like them, tell you why we don't like some bowls, maybe tell you why we love our favorite bowls. But yeah, I'm smoking some Tangier's Blue Gumball 2.0 right now out of my Alien Flashback bowl, the Provost with 2 cubes. He's smoking Tangiers as well, I think, but I don't know what the fuck he's smoking. He's AFK at the moment. So what are you guys smoking? Smoking AF grapefruit and FML red in the
I'm back.
works. That's a good mix. What do you think?
Alright.
You ever had AF grapefruit and FML red before?
Alright. Okay, so I'm back.
All right.
And
No Indian summer, says Rob on YouTube. I know, man. I need more Indian summer. I ran through that 250 in like 2 or 3 weeks. It was so fast.
I'm back. My roommate is hitting. But I am smoking papaya sorbet. Tangier's papaya sorbet.
8 Brown Shock is smoking Trifecta Cool Cinnamon Gum. That's some good shit. A lot of people think that flavor is too strong, but I just love that flavor.
Like too minty?
Yeah, that's usually what I've heard. Just too strong in general. Yeah. What are you packing the Phalian or yeah, Phalian is what you're using?
Yeah, that's what I'm using. That's my go-to for Tangiers.
Brett is smoking.
It's just so
Brett
skeleton.
is smoking Haze BOF. I did not like that flavor personally, but I don't like many of the new Haze flavors. That's just me. Skitten is
Yeah, they're a little iffy.
yeah. Skitten smoking Fumari, the best. I didn't know they had a.
That's my roommate.
Oh,
He's
okay.
not smoking anything.
I didn't know Fumari had a flavor called the best.
He says Fumari is the best. Yeah, John, this is the one you had sent me. I've liked every flavor you've sent me so far.
Rob on YouTube says it's practically twice the cinnamon instead of ice, but damn if it's not on point as far as cool cinnamon gum goes. I agree with that 100%. That's how I like it. I like cinnamon, so it feels good, man.
Barrett said Fumari Ambrosia is one of my top 5 flavors. It's a pretty good flavor. Can't lie. It's pretty good.
All right. Well, with that, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. So, we just kind of want to start by talking about our favorite bowls. So, Alex, why don't you go ahead and show them your favorite bowls while I go grab mine because I'm a bad streamer. I forgot to grab them.
Here's my favorite bowl. The best bowl on the market. The Elite Glider Bowl. The best bowl on the market at the moment. Has been for a couple of years, you know? Doesn't get better than this. Yeah, but for real though,
Fuck.
my favorite bowls are probably the Mason Bowl. Got the Mason Bowl. Definitely one of my favorites. And this is not the particular alien that's my favorite. It's dirty in the kitchen. But basically, alien bowl. And I really like to use the Goodfellow Bowl, as I've said in the last podcast.
All right.
The Goodfellow Bowl has always been good.
So my favorite bowl is the Elite Glider Bowl. I like the black one personally. I think the black gives it more flavor.
No, the blue gives it more flavor.
No, he's fucking trolling you guys. Don't listen to him. Realistically, my favorite bowl that I own is this one. This is a crown bowl that I got from a friend. It's a blue glass with a copper exterior, so it's like actually like metal on the outside. But I have never actually used it because I think it's too pretty to use. So it sits on my shelf and collects dust. But goddamn if it's not beautiful.
That's a really sick looking bowl.
One of my other ones is the one I'm using right now, which I'll just put this bad boy over there. That Alien Flashback. I think that's, yeah, I mean, Rob's right, in before Alien Flashback. And then my OG Stone Genesis Bowl. I used the shit out of it. I retired it because I didn't want to abuse it too much. And I got mad at it after it burned me real bad. So I don't use it much anymore, but it's still one of my favorites. His bowls have some next level shit when it comes to quality. I'd put my Mason bowl up there too, but that's hot. I just used it.
Too dirty to pull out.
Wait, has it even occurred to you that I'm here? Yes, John, I see that you were here. All right. So
Oh, I think there's an issue, by the way, with I don't know. The YouTube's frozen for. Let me refresh that real quick.
it's not frozen for
I
me.
don't know.
I can.
Oh yeah, it's good. Never mind.
Okay.
It was just frozen for some reason.
That's weird. Yeah, if you guys didn't know, we did get our YouTube channel up and running, so it's not just on my channel anymore. We do have the Hookah Smiths YouTube channel. So you guys could go and smash that subscribe button for us. That would be dank as fuck because we need 100 subscribers before we can get a custom URL, and it really tilts us that we don't have a custom URL. So yeah, do that shit.
We need 100 subscribers to be able to make a custom link, so we don't have a bunch of random text as the URL.
Yeah.
It would look a lot cleaner.
Yeah. And the same goes for last week. If you guys have any input on how we can improve our stream, feel free to let us know. Drop a comment, drop a F in chat if you have too many things to list, and you can always hit us up PM. You know, we're always around.
My roommate said we need a new font and to change the text size, but
What?
at least people can read it now.
What for Twitch chat? Yeah, Twitch chat is fucked right now, but it's legend. You can read it, so that's good.
Better than nothing.
Absolutely. So we're gonna talk right now about what makes a good bowl. So Alex, what do you think makes a good bowl?
So a good bowl, you're going to need a bowl that's made out of good materials. It's going to have to fit some sort of heat management device in 2018. If you don't have a heat management device, I guess it doesn't really matter. But to me, a good bowl is going to be able to fit a heat management device, such as the Lotus or the Provost. If it doesn't fit that, then it's probably not something that I'm going to be using too often. And I want the spire to not be too low where the shisha is going to fall straight down and get into your base. It's not a huge deal, but something that I prefer, so you don't have to clean the stem so much, because if a lot of shisha gets down the stem, you're going to have to clean that pretty well.
You also don't want it to be too high either, because if it's too high, then it just restricts your...
Well, if it's too high, then it's not going to fit the heat management device in general.
That's true. If it's too high, then it's just basically unusable. So yeah, kind of goes without saying, I guess.
And even if you're using foil, you don't want it to be too high, because you have foil drag, and then it's going to be extremely restricted.
Yeah, literally,
So
basically unusable if it's too high.
If you want a good bowl for foil and a heat management device, you want a nice level spire, maybe a tiny bit lower. You want it to be made out of good materials, and you also want it to fit a heat management device if you're using a heat management device in general. What do you think is something that I didn't cover?
Well, I think everyone has a very different preference towards bowls, but I think the big thing with bowls these days is that there are so many different kinds of tobacco that all smoke very differently, that there's no one bowl that's going to be perfect for everyone. There are going to be a lot of different bowls that work for different reasons. And I think, I wrote a blog about it a while ago, but I think min-maxing your bowls is the way to go. So when I'm looking at a bowl, I smoke a lot of dark leaf, so I'm generally looking for a shallow bowl that fits a Provost, because that's how I like to smoke. So that's why I like the Alien Flashback so much. It's a shallow bowl, fits a Provost perfectly. So it's great for Tangier sessions. That said, it's not as good for something like Alfaker because it's so shallow. Can't get that nice fluff pack as well. You can still do it, but I think a lot of the same things you said apply. You want good clay, like Hookah John clay or alpaca clay, mason, stone. They're the only ones that are coming to mind off the top of my head. But those are the ones that like have great clay, hold heat well, and they do a great job. You want the spire to be a nice height. Too high, you get foil drag out the ass. Too low, you get shisha down your stem like a motherfucker. And yeah, I think heat management device is so tricky because if you have a bowl that fits a Provost, that bowl is probably not going to do a perfect fit for a traditional heat management device like a Lotus or something like that. So I think that's why things like the Relix are interesting, because it looks like it'll fit both perfectly. So I'm interested to see how that turns out. But yeah,
definitely. Also, not a bowl that's going to, like, a bowl that's super shallow is good for some brands, like you said.
Right.
But it's not going to be good for other brands. So that's why I mix up between my Mason bowl, which I use for dark leaves typically, and then if I want to smoke something like Alfaca or Haze or Fumari even pure, then I'm probably going to use something a little bit bigger. Even if I'm using less tobacco, the leaves are bigger, so I'm not going to be necessarily using as much shisha, but I'm still going to want to be using a slightly bigger bowl because the leaves are just that much bigger.
Right, and it's also the pack. You want to fluff for your pack, so you need more room for that, essentially. Ground Shock on Twitch says, "What about metal bowls like AOT?" So things like the AOT and the Sky Bowl are great. I think it's tough to beat traditional clay, but I do love my Sky Bowl, and even when I had the AOT, I liked it. I just didn't like smoking the same bowl for like 4 hours at a time. That's just me. It works, and that's the thing. It works for a lot of people. It works well. The same thing goes for the Sky Bowl. I think the Sky Bowl is a great bowl too. I use that once in a while, not as much as my other bowls because I don't like middle bowls with dark leaf. And since I smoke so much dark leaf, I generally just stick with clay because it's a little bit easier to maintain the heat. Because with the thing with metal bowls is that you got. Let me just take our. This has metal, so we're going to use it. So when you're thinking about metal, metal spikes in heat very quickly. So if I put coals on this, it'll be hot in a minute. If I did it with a clay bowl, it'd take like, I don't know, like a minute or two. It would take considerably longer. So it's a lot easier to feel when the heat is ramping up on a clay bowl. It's a lot easier to fix it. Whereas with a metal bowl, by the time it's heated up already, you're generally to the point by then, if you've noticed that it's too hot, that it's too late to save it. That can be mitigated, and if you're great with your heat management, it's a great thing. But that's generally why I stick to clay bowls. What do you think about metal bowls?
So for metal bowls, I think like the Shisha Bucks bowl is very good, and I use it for like if I was to use one, I use it for like Trifecta
Yeah.
and Fumari and brands like that. Even Haze.
Yeah.
I don't think they're too terrible for those specific brands.
Yeah.
But if I was to use the apple on top, I kind of like it with I really like it with Alfaker even, like especially Alfaker. I really like that with the apple. Even though I haven't used one in a very long time, that was one of my go-tos back in the day for Alfaker. I thought it smoked really well and it lasted a very long time.
Yeah, you were one of the OGs with the AOT, weren't you? You were using it years ago with the Provost before it got to the level that it is today. The Provost, anyway, not the AOT. The AOT, it had some spikes in popularity, but it's still not super popular now.
Darsh Ranjit said, "Have you guys tried KS Apo from Germany? Thoughts?" I haven't tried any German brands. I wish they were more available in the American market, but since they aren't, I typically don't get the opportunity to try any of those things. If they do become more popular in America, or even if any company ends up selling something from like Germany or any European brand in general, I'll probably be willing to try it. Like I really want to try Kismet, but I haven't had the opportunity to try it yet. And if I wanted to get that, it would be quite pricey.
Yeah, Kismet, Darkside, if those brands hit the US, I'd be all about it. But the import fees, it's generally, I don't want to say it's not worth it, but it's not worth it to me because I'm broke as fuck.
Yeah, the price is very high if you wanted to be able to get it into America, because you'd have to pay the incredible shipping costs, and it's like they're comparable to some other brands, I'm pretty sure, even though I haven't tried them. So I'll definitely be sticking with these for now, but if they were to become available, I would be willing to try it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I've heard good things.
Yeah, the r/Hookah Discord server literally never shuts up about some of those brands. There's a Prike that swears by Kismet and Freestyle. Shout out to Prike.
Rob said Dark Side is overrated, honestly. Kismet seems more promising. I've heard good things about both, but I'm really interested in trying Kismet because they have so many interesting flavors.
Yeah, Kismet's the one that's been on my mind for a while. That like got some hype when Strictly Shisha got some flavors, and he was talking about it for a while, and people seemed interested. And it just kind of fell off after that because no one here can get it. So, Barrett says German shisha tax is ludicrous. To be fair, all shisha tax is ludicrous in my mind, but that's just me.
Well, definitely in Europe, it's way more ridiculous.
Yeah, it's absurd there. It's, I mean, then you get to Australia where it's like, well, there was some guy that posted he bought like a few kilograms. He paid like $100 for a few kilos of Alfaker, and the import tax was like $500 or $600 or something stupid like that.
That's crazy. Like I couldn't justify spending so much on tobacco in general.
No, that's absurd. It's a feels bad man. Can I get a feels bad man in the chat?
I guess we could go into, well, after I answer this question from John, he said, not really a question. He said, I tried Dark Side once, literally 3 to 5 minutes, and it was interesting to me. Their mint Supernova, specifically, is just a minty throat hit, but the taste was like a pipe tobacco. That's pretty interesting to me. I like mints that have that slight tobacco taste. That pipe tobacco probably is more interesting in general, but I don't like Tangiers mints are extremely tobacco-y in general, and I think that's a little bit too much.
Yeah, that's why I don't usually smoke cane mint stuff like that. Rob on YouTube says, waiting for the Pablo Escobar of shisha smuggling still. Yeah, you and me both. Hopefully we'll get someone, but then even then buying it's going to be hella shady. It'll be like buying from Hookah set every time.
All right, so let's talk a little bit more about our favorite bowls and why they're our favorite bowls instead of like the specific bowls, not like
General.
not just the general specs of what you expect in a bowl that's going to be good. So, for example, I have the Mason bowl, and the Mason bowl is great because I use it for my heat management devices such as the Lotus and the Lotus Plus and all the other ones. And I like it a lot because you have the opportunity to put flavor mixes, and it makes it a little bit easier. The spire is a good height. The clay is super thick, and because it's so thick, it's going to last a very long time. The bowl is going to stay hot for a very long time, and it also has that. I forgot what you call it. I don't know what to call it.
Mole catcher.
Yeah, the mole. It basically has a built-in mole catcher, and I think that's great because it keeps the shisha in the bowl instead of going into your base. And like I said before, if the spire is too low, then you're going to end up getting shisha in your. Why are you laughing?
Cuckoo says, you got to take some steel wool to that poor mason lip, my boy.
Bro, I clean it sometimes, okay? Well, anyways, so if it doesn't have this mole catcher and the spire, like the spire is a good height, but if the spire wasn't this height and it still had that mole catcher, it's not going to get glycerin and shisha down your stem, which in a traditional hookah, that's going to be very difficult to clean.
Yeah.
At least it's going to stain the pipe itself, and you're going to have to clean it out pretty well.
Yeah, and that's it's a lot of the same reasons why the Mason Bowl is one of my favorites. I don't have mine with me, but it's got like all the general stuff we were talking about. It's got the HMD compatibility. You can even use it with the Provost. It's not going to be a perfect fit, but it works. It's shallow enough to where it works with dark leaves with the Lotus very well. You can even foil it extremely efficiently, and you're still not using a ton of tobacco. So it's and it's got the perfect spire height that I've never had any kind of drag with it whatsoever. Built-in mole catcher is just a nice little add-on, and it's got the thick clay, so it retains heat very well.
The only issue I have with the mole catcher, which is not even a real issue, I guess, is if I have to take once I take the bowl off, the glycerin kind of like plops right out.
Yes, it makes a gigantic mess. I literally just smoked a bowl before we went live, where I was smoking something in the Mason bowl, and I just got juice fucking everywhere. So feels bad, man.
So what I do is now I realize that if you don't take the grommet off, or if you take the grommet off with the bowl instead of just taking the bowl off, the glycerin doesn't fall out.
Yeah, it'll save it a little bit.
I typically just bring all of it to the kitchen instead of just the bowl itself. If not, I'm going to end up having to bring a paper towel. Optimus Prime said, thoughts on the Helix Bowl by Mason. I have not tried that one yet. Wait, have you tried that bowl?
Yes, so I actually have two. The first one I had such bad foil drag with it that I literally could not smoke it. And then, so he sent me another one, because Mason's a great guy, and he wanted me to have one that, worked. And I got it, so I have a new one. I use it once in a while, but I don't use it that much because I still get foil drag with it. Rob said, I love hate with the Helix for me. It takes so much heat to get going that I generally steer away from it with HMD Provost. Foil only for me, but it's a beauty. And he's right, it is a beautiful bowl, and I really like the concept of the bowl. It's a bowl that fits the Provost perfectly, and it's very thick. It retains heat so well, almost to the point where it takes so much heat to get going that it is hard to use to a certain extent. But my main issue is the foil drag. I don't know if I'm just a fucking noob when it comes to foiling it. I reached out to Mason and talked to him about it, and he was like, yeah, just poke some holes in the center of the spire. And that helped, but I don't like having to poke holes in the center of my spire to be able to use the bowl. That's just me. I mean, it's going to vary from person to person, but that's just my thoughts on it personally. It does retain heat very well. It is a great, the depth is great. And when it's smoking well, it's smoking well. But like I said, I still have foil drag with it. I want to keep using it for a while and seeing if I can up my foiling game or something like that before I like actually review it. But those are just my thoughts after a few months of using it. It is an absolutely gorgeous bowl, though.
Rob, I have a question for you. Even though it requires so much heat to get going, as you say, do you feel like all that heat retention is going to allow it to last that much longer?
I think that much longer is kind of subjective. You might be able to get like an extra 5 or 10 minutes with the extra heat, you know, but it just kind of depends on what you're smoking, how long you're smoking.
If the, I believe, in my opinion, if the bowl is going to allow you to smoke for an extra 15 to 20 minutes, then it's worth it. But if it's not going to last that much longer, then it's probably not worth it.
Yeah, Rob, I definitely want to hear your thoughts on that too, because it's an interesting concept. I don't know that I've done science with it, like actual like timing it. Kukukachu says, I dig the Helix I have, my guys. Used it for a solid week after I got back from Vegas. Part to consider about how long the Helix lasts is how little tobacco it uses in the first place. And that's true. It uses basically nothing. It's like it's shallow and it's like the perfect width too, so it doesn't really use much at all. So you can get like an easy hour and a half out of whatever you pack in it.
Optimus Prime said, "What is your favorite bowl for smoking Tangiers?" Well, personally for me, as I've said many times, the Alien Flashback is going to be the preferred bowl for me, just because I don't smoke several hours at a time, like in a row. Anyways, like I'll smoke like an hour now, and then maybe at like 11 or so, 12 even, I'll pack another bowl. That's just times, for example, and I feel like it's such a small bowl, I can make it last an hour like every other brand, and it's going to use all of the tobacco that I provided in the bowl instead of packing the bowl like beforehand. I would pack in like maybe I would use probably this one. Okay, so the Goodfella V4
It's
or
V3.
V3. I'm sorry, and I would use this one, and I would end up having a lot of extra tobacco, and I would typically have so much extra tobacco that it wouldn't be worth it to me, because if I wanted to go back to it, then it wouldn't smoke as well,
You
know,
can't.
because you already packed a bowl.
It's hard to go back to a bowl. You have to. I've seen Michael does it. He will rip the tobacco off like after he smoked a bowl of Tangiers, just pack right over it and smoke it. I've heard people doing it before. Kukukachu says the char is real with Alex's bowls.
Okay, come on. My bowls are not that charred. I got this one.
That is so
This bowl's
charred.
not that charred.
That is
Okay.
so charred. Do you see this? This is dirty for me. Do you see how this is not dirty?
That char doesn't make a difference.
It doesn't.
Come on.
It's just picky.
Yeah. Okay. So this one's a little bad, but you actually can't tell that much because of the color.
That is so charred. Not that charred.
Okay. Okay. It doesn't make a difference, guy. My guy.
Rob says my OCD is tingling. He also said, for me it takes...
Whatever, guys.
In reference to the Helix, Rob also said, for me it takes a solid half hour to get up to temp. I mean, it'll last that 1.5 hours with a single round. You can push it to 2 hours with a single round, but you can get it to 3 fairly easily. Optimus Prime says the char marks are
with the Helix bowl, how much tobacco does it even use? It uses what?
It's
10 to 15 max.
Yeah, it's similar to the Onyx, I think. Yeah, that's what John said in the.
That's still really good.
Yeah, no, it's great.
That's not bad.
No,
that's
no,
really good.
That's absolutely fantastic. I didn't answer the question about bowl with Tangiers. It's basically the same. The 80 feet 80 and the Alien Flashback are my go-tos for Tangiers, generally speaking, because they're the most shallow.
My guy Optimus Prime said the char marks are characters on the bowl. See, I align with this guy. This is a guy that knows things about bowls. It has character. I like my bowls to have character. It shows that I've used them, that I love them. Optimus and
I have traded some bowls, so he's a good guy. But he's wrong. Char marks are disgusting. Clean your goddamn bowls, you maniac.
I will never clean my bowls to brand new use. Like, why would I do that? They look beautiful.
Rob says Crown Classic V5 is better than all other bowls for Tangiers. You are the one fucking wizard besides Santino that has figured out how to smoke it. You show us how to do that, I will gladly give it a shot.
I am absolutely disturbed. I don't know if you can read this, if you can. It says, John sent me on Facebook how to clean hookah balls charred.
Yeah, I'll make a
You
video.
probably can't read it.
No, you definitely can't read it. Barrett says, for Darkleaf, do you guys like shallow like the Retro or deep like the Predator? I generally go shallow, personally speaking. That's just me. I think deep you can get a longer session, obviously, but it's personal preference. I usually go for like an hour and a half to 2 hours with a bowl, so I know I never want to put a second round of coals on, so shallow is better for me, but that's just me.
Shallow is better for me too, just because like you said, I'm not going that second, third round of coals. This is a 1 hour bowl to me, and like I said, I'm going to pack a bowl later, and even if it's the same flavor, I'm going to end up wanting to put new tobacco, just because
Fresh bowl.
I'm not going to go back to that previous bowl.
You always want a fresh bowl. 8 Round Shock on Twitch says, I haven't had many bowls last longer than like 3 months, including Stone Bowl, or Mason, or Tangiers, or any of my HJ bowls. Are you breaking your bowls? Because that sounds like a real bad problem.
Thing.
Yeah,
that's a you thing. That's not the bowl.
That feels bad, man. God damn.
That's your friends destroying your bowls.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like we got the bowl for you, dude. This is the bowl you need. Just use this.
You need the glider bowl.
Just use this, and you'll be fine.
I want you to know, I knew it was the glider bowl, even though it hasn't popped up yet.
I know. Kukuchu says, I'm doing 2 rounds a bit more recently, mostly because I'm lazy, but I'm not dumb. I only do that with big Egyptians or a rook or something. Yeah, and if you go multiple rounds, I think those bowls are generally better. And it depends what you're smoking. So it just goes, Brett says, same. I only go 2 rounds with 20 grams plus. Yeah, that's fair. I think the general good mark, I think Sark has actually said it, but it's like 10 grams for an hour is a very solid mark to go to. So if you're getting 2 hours out of a 20-gram bowl, you're doing great. If you're going more than that, you're gold, you know? That's just a ratio that I like to keep in my head, because I think it makes sense. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do agree with that. Like, if you're using 10 grams, that should definitely last you around an hour, 10 to 15 grams. But once you hit that 20-gram mark, you definitely want to hit that 2-hour mark.
Yeah, and that's why.
If not, you're kind of wasting your tobacco.
That's why we kind of rotate towards shallow bowls, because it uses less. We're smoking for a lesser amount of time, I guess. So it ends up making sense.
On top of that, like if you're smoking brands like Tangiers and Trifecta, those are going to last it a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And since I want to maximize how long I'm able to smoke for the least amount of tobacco as possible, especially for those people that are trying to pinch those pennies and save that money.
Yeah. Optimus on YouTube says, when you say an hour, does it include heat up time? That's a good question. I generally just say an hour from when I put the coals on from then, I guess. What do you think?
Okay, I know you're not supposed to, but I slightly preheat my Lotus probably for like, at most 30 seconds, but typically like 15 seconds or 20 seconds, and that delays, or not delays, it decreases the amount of time I'm going to need to get my bowl started.
To be fair, it still takes time for the bowl itself to heat up, even if you do that.
Yeah, and the coals are still going, so you're still using the potential of the coals.
Yeah.
So that's why I preheat it just a little bit. I'm never crazy enough to preheat it for like a minute, 2 minutes. That's how you destroy your heat management device. I've had this one for 4 years now, this specific heat management device, and I've been preheating it for at least 2 years now, 15 to 20 seconds, and it's been great. There's no warping of any kind on this heat management device. So if you're not being ridiculous with how you're preheating it, then it's going to be fine, and you're probably going to save a minute or two on how long it takes to preheat.
I think you should...
or just to heat up in general.
You should go ahead and read Rob's comment.
Oh, okay. The Omega Semi-Fluff Pack at the obtuse angle will give you the ultimate performance. You know, I agree with that.
But only...
That's a true statement.
Only if you're using good quality bowls. Only if.
I don't know if I'm going to do another podcast live while drinking. I'm pretty lightweight.
You've also been gone for 4 days.
That's true.
Barrett says, you guys use a wind cover to expedite foil sessions or let it do a slow start? That is 100% if I'm being lazy or not. Most of the time, my wind cover is all the way over there in the corner with my hookahs, and I generally just don't want to get it. I like using wind cover, But if I'm using it, I usually just leave it on. And if it gets too hot, maybe I'll take it off.
You know, that new gen Starbuzz NAR, I'm pretty interested in trying that. Like, that's such a cool concept that it even shows you the temperature. And once people get that down and know how the proper temperature should be, that's going to be like a super key concept. It's just a cool concept in general that you're going to see what is the proper temperature to keep certain tobaccos at.
Yeah, absolutely. Lorette and Cuckoo are talking about how they don't heat. John says he doesn't heat the Phoenix for longer than 30 seconds. They're just talking about preheating the Phoenix. Phoenix is recommended to be preheated. Maybe not recommended, but he said that you could do it. You can. I've done it. I literally did it for the entire amount of time with coals. So solid like 10 minutes, and it was totally fine.
I'd be so scared.
Nah, I mean, I was scared the first time, but it was like 100% fine.
Rob said, slow start for me. I'll throw it on at about an hour after the first flip if I'm only going one round of coals.
He's talking.
I'm assuming he's referring to
wind cover, I think.
Wind covers?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's fair. I usually do a slow start too, just because. If I'm soaking foil, I'm generally not in that much of a rush. And my bullets start. I mean, with foil, it starts in like a minute or two.
Yeah, it spoils faster.
Yeah. So sometimes, yes, not always. To answer, I don't remember who the fuck asked that, but yeah.
Yeah, for wind covers, for me personally, I'm going to be using them to extend my bowl rather than to jumpstart it.
Yeah. The thing with jumpstarting your bowls like that is it can overcook them to a certain extent almost, where it gets too hot and you'll be cooking too fast. You can burn a bowl. It just goes too fast.
I've definitely preheated my Lotus for like 30 seconds, even 45 seconds if I'm not paying attention. But I definitely won't even hit that 1 minute mark. But if I do have it for that long and I'm smoking tangers, you could potentially burn your bowl.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm always when I'm putting my point is, if you're going to preheat at all, the only way I do it is if I'm going to put the coals in the Lotus at the exact same time. I never put it on there beforehand. Like if I have to go wash my hands or if I'm packing a bowl, I'm never going to preheat it before that.
Yeah, and the thing with the with preheating is the real reason that the original Lotus specifically started the preheating thing was because coals would black out. If you put hot coals in cold Lotus, the bottoms of the coals would black out. So that's why that started, and that's what preheating the Lotus really does for you. I don't really do it myself, but it is, I mean, he does it all the fucking time, so it is definitely something you can get away with.
It's a viable option. You just have to be sure that you're not going to preheat it for a very long time. If you do, like I said, you're going to destroy your heat management device, and those aren't cheap. Even $30 is not worth ruining it.
Right, absolutely.
You know?
Rob said, question is, have you preheated the Ignis? I think you preheated the Ignis, did you? Yeah.
I have. I definitely have. Like, I have the Ignis, and I have the Lotus, and I have the Lotus Plus. I've preheated all three of them, and it's been fine. As long as, like I said, you don't preheat it too long, it's going to be fine. And I don't think the time that you're saving is negligible. Like, you're saving a solid minute, 2 minutes, even 3 minutes, depending on the tobacco that you're heating up.
Yeah.
And how much heat it takes to get going. So I think it's worth it as long as you're smart enough to, you know, keep an eye on it.
Yeah, just don't forget about it, essentially. Because if you forget about it, you're going to have a bad time. That's really all that boils down to.
Like I said, rule of thumb, make sure you're doing it when you put the coals on. You can be a little bit of a badass if you want. Leave it on there another 10, 15 seconds after you put the coals on, but it shouldn't take you very long to put the coals on in the first place.
Yeah, another good practice is, like, sometime when I used to do it, when I did it, I would turn my burner off after the coals were done.
Yeah, that's also good.
Put it on there, put the coals in it for a minute while I, like, wash my hands or whatever, just for, like, 30 seconds, and then put it right on the bowl from there. Rob says the only... Go ahead.
Oh, John said I preheat the Phoenix that way. Coals go in, then it goes on the stove with coals in for about 30 seconds. That should be perfectly good.
Also, with the Phoenix, you can do it for as long as you want.
I mean, you could do it for an hour if you wanted to with the Phoenix. You could be like, oh, I want to smoke a bowl in an hour? Let me preheat this real quick.
Rob said the only one I've continued to preheat is the Phoenix since it takes a while to get up to temp. Wade can probably attest to this as well. And yes, I can confirm it does actually take a little bit to preheat the Phoenix. I think it's just because of how wide it is. Like every Lotus is tapered, so it takes a little bit longer with the Phoenix because it's not tapered. I just want to try that goddamn new lid. That's all.
I've heard the Phoenix just takes a long time to just get up to heat in general. So, it's still terrifying to hold a hot heat management device with tongs.
Absolutely.
If you have the Stratus, it's actually not that scary.
That's right. Get a Stratus and enjoy the master race. All right, we've talked about heat management devices for a while, so let's talk about what bowls are popular and why. So, what are some of the bowls that you see popping off when it comes to popularity, Alex?
The Helix bowl is very popular at the moment, along with the Relix bowl, which is going. That's out already, right? Or it's not. It's coming out very shortly.
Yeah, it's like there's hype around it, but it's not actually out yet.
Well, from what I've seen, it seems like a very solid bowl.
Yes.
And it's probably going to become very popular very quickly. The Mason bowl is also a very good bowl to purchase if you are able to get one, and also alpaca bowls are very widely available and are also very good bowls to have in your collection.
Do you think so? It's interesting. You remember when stone bowls started getting popularity, right? And how they were so hard to get for the longest time.
Those are impossible to get at the time.
Yeah, and now it's more reasonable. Like you don't have to be sitting there with a bot at 9. What? Say you release it at 9. You have to be there at 9 o'clock and 1 second to get a bowl.
On the dot.
Yeah.
You had to be there on the dot.
You can actually browse stone bowls now. It's weird, but they still do sell out mostly. He still has, like, I think there are actually some bowls up there now. Nothing crazy, but basically it's interesting to see that that's continued for so long. That continued because that was what 2 or 3 years for Brandon that he's been doing that, and he's still almost consistently selling out. And Mason's been going for almost 2, or actually exactly 2 years now, and he is still selling out every single time, no matter what the fuck he puts on his site.
Yeah. So basically, Brandon kind of pioneered that stone bowl technology in a way.
The exclusive bowl market almost.
Yeah. He basically invented that being a good quality material, from what I know.
Yeah.
To create a good bowl that's going to last a very long time. It's not going to get heat fractures, and it's going to smoke for a very long time. And since he created that, or pioneered that in general, that other people, even what's it called? What's that really cheap bowl that you can buy?
The Goliath bowl, right? The God tier.
No, not the glider bowl. The it's something you get like as a. I'm drawing a blank, because I don't have one. Who makes the glass bowl?
The glass bowl?
The Goliath.
Sahara Smoke.
Okay, what's that bowl name?
The Goliath bowl.
Before that.
The
smaller one.
The Vortex bowl.
Okay, so the Vortex bowl. Even they have made a bowl that's made out of stone.
Well, so that's a funny thing. It's actually not. It's actually just an alpaca bowl. Alpaca makes those.
Alpaca makes those?
Yes.
I didn't even know that one.
Yes, they are. That's 100. I don't know how public. No, I'm 90% sure that's like a thing that people know about. But I have confirmed that with Omar before. That he makes them.
So alpaca bowl makes those bowls?
Yeah, it's basically an alpaca bowl that Sahara Smoke sells.
But even basically my point is, even a company like that has gone
game
on their way to create a bowl that's made out of better material.
Yeah, so I think there's definitely something to be said that people are realizing, even like casual smokers are realizing that quality clay makes a big difference. Like my friends, they were smoking with like Egyptian bowls, whatever. But I gave them some of them have alpaca, some have HJ, a few have Goodfellow bowls. I distribute the wealth or whatever. I think they noticed how well those smoked and how well they retained heat and held up over time, that they still use those today.
Okay. Let's get into this first question from YouTube. Optimus Prime said, what bowls have you used for outdoor smoking and has good heat retention? I personally don't smoke outside, but for good heat retention, as long as it has good quality clay, I feel like most of them have good heat retention. Like the Mason bowl has very good heat retention, alpaca bowls have really good heat retention, and other than that, I don't really see many bowls in the current market, other than those two companies making bowls. Oh, Hookah John as well.
Right.
So basically, those three are making the best quality bowls, in my opinion, currently.
Yeah, and he even said it. The wind can be annoying with cooling the bowl and heating up the coals. It's a pity they're never even out. You're right. That's why whenever I'm smoking outside, I literally just use a wind cover. It is not worth fucking. It is not worth fucking with anything that's not a wind cover when you're outside because it's just god tier fucking awful.
And then Rob said, "Here's a good topic I want both of your opinions on. What kind of clay do you prefer, and what preference do you have with said clay and tobacco types / brands?" I haven't tried red clay.
I have.
Oh, well, you can give your opinion on that. But do you know the specific type of material that stone uses?
It's thicker. That's the big difference is when it comes to density. So HJ bowls have like air pockets. That's what Barrett's talking about in the Twitch chat. More dense clay equals more heat retention, but more viable to burn. But air pockets in the clay can also play a part in mitigating the heat. He's absolutely right. If you've got a bowl that's like an HJ bowl, if you look at the clay, you can see it's kind of porous, and that's because it has air pockets that allow it to be a little bit lighter, and also it allows it allows for a little bit more easily to mitigate the heat. So you can, if it bowl's heating up too fast, like I was talking about earlier, you can easily take a coal off and it'll start to cool down. If you've gotten a stone bowl that's this thick and is just straight pure stone, then it's gonna heat up and it's gonna stay hot. So you're gonna have, if you've got your heat on point the entire time, it'll be great. But you're also more likely to burn, like Brett said.
Brett also said that stone uses proprietary clay.
Stoneware and
So,
additives. Yeah.
Stoneware, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so like alpaca does it's not stoneware, but it's like kind of like an HJ clay, but they don't put any gaps in the air like HJ does. So it retains heat better, but you're still running the risk more when it comes to burning the bowl if you overheat it. It's hard to cool off. What's up?
If it has too many air gaps, does that mean it could potentially crack more?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think that comes out more down to the glaze than anything. I don't think that has any because I don't think it has anything to do with cracking, realistically. Because it's not like it's.
I guess that has more to do with the glaze.
Yeah.
The quality of the glaze, at least.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a whole nother topic we could cover. But I don't know enough about glazes to really say anything about it. But as far as what kind of clay and tobacco types and brands, generally once I get a feel for a bowl and how it smokes, I'll learn like what it goes well with. Like with my HJ bowls, I usually go with Tangiers. Slap of Provost, 2 cubes, lid on whole time, never fuck with it. But yeah, I mean, alpaca bowls, I'll usually go with something like Trifecta Dark or Alfacher, literally anything else that's not Tangiers, basically. And it's not to say it doesn't work with Tangiers, it absolutely does, but that's just my preference, and that's how once I get a bowl, I usually like to use it for one specific thing, but that's because I have too many bowls.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I use specific bowls for specific brands. Other than that, I don't really look into them too much more than that. Like a more shallow bowl that's made out of good materials, I'm probably going to use it for Tangiers or Trifecta. And if I'm using a slightly bigger bowl, I'm going to be using like Alfacher or Haze, Pure, those brands. Even Lavu, I would probably use in a more shallow bowl because those last long enough to be used in a shallow bowl.
Yeah, so basically, I think what we're both saying is basically that it comes down to more the shape of the bowl and the clay it's made of. Once you figure out a bowl, like how it works and what the clay works with, you can kind of use it for whatever you like it with for the shape of the bowl, and you'll learn how to manage the heat.
Yeah, basically, if it's a heat management device and it's small, shallow, or deep, that is basically going to tell me if I'm going to be using it for A brand or B brand.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's not much more to it for me personally.
Derek Moses says, "Yo, what's up, Derek? Shout out to Moses Hoses. I'm gonna get one of your hoses when I win the lottery because I'm poor."
Oh, what hoses?
Moses Hoses? Have you not seen those on Facebook?
Oh, he has them on.
He has them on Etsy.
Etsy, yeah.
Yeah. Eight Round Shock says R.I.P. Lavu, and then Cuckoo Kachu followed it up with Lavu is back as of months ago, my guy. Yeah, from what I heard, Lavu is actually like they ghosted, and apparently Hookah Fina bought them out. I don't take my word for law or whatever, but that's what I heard from various people. I don't know how true it is, but they're definitely good host, definitely good. I like Lavu. I would just finish that Viceroy chai you sent me the other day, actually.
Oh, Southern Peach from Lavu is amazing.
Oh my
I love
god,
that flavor.
Southern Peach is god tier. Southern Peach, Viceroy
That's
chai.
a great peach.
Yeah, those are some of my favorites. I need to order more Lavu. I haven't smoked bought Lavu in a while, actually.
Their coffee flavor. I forget the name, but it's very good. Like some of their flavors are very, very good, and some of them are whatever. They have this bubblegum flavor that I don't really like that much.
Yeah,
I thought it was gonna be. Oh, it's called Icebreaker.
Yeah, I know. I have it. You sent it to
When
me.
you hear when you hear Icebreaker, you think it's going to be a very minty flavor, right? Well, it's not. It's bubblegum flavor, and that was like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Mean Java. That's what we're on.
Mean Java.
Yeah.
Right.
Lavu Mean Java is great.
I don't-
I like that one a lot. And I like to mix it with Starbucks Vintage Dark Vanilla. I like to mix that.
I don't know. I never got to try that actually. I might that.
That mix or that flavor specifically?
That flavor specifically.
Oh, right. You should.
8 Round Chalk says it's back, but it's under management, and Sergey left. Apparently, attack evasion, as far as I know. Yeah, that's what I heard. I don't want to talk too much about it because it's not something I have 1,000 confirmation about it.
Optimus Prime said, I forget, how much does the Alien Flashback hold in grams? I'd probably say anywhere from 10 to 15, and it's going to last roughly an hour, hour 15. The longest I've been able to get it to go is like an hour and 30, which is really good for me since I'm smoking Tangiers.
Yeah, I only smoke Tangiers, and it's 18 grams for me. And it's solid hour and a half, 2 hours if I'm pushing it. Icebreaker was the biggest troll flavor ever via Rob.
It's called Icebreaker, dude. Why is it called Icebreaker?
Yeah, I don't know. That's the one Lavu that you sent me that it's like chilling. I haven't touched it. I don't have any strong desire.
The second I opened it, because they have that little lift, like that little lid sort of thing. Once you open the top,
I remember you were literally
bubblegum.
We were video chatting when you opened it.
Oh my god, it's not bad per se. It's just like, why?
Mean Java 8 Round Chalk on Twitch says Mean Java is better than Morning Glory though. What the fuck?
By a lot.
Wow.
There's a lot of those.
Yeah, all right.
Mean Java's not very good.
I don't.
But Morning Glory, they're different types of coffee. It depends what kind of coffee you like.
I fiend on Morning Glory, so I don't know. I'll have to try Mean Java.
Mean Java's very good. Morning Glory is very good, but like I said, it depends on the type of coffee that you like. I like to drink a lot, so I like them both for different reasons.
That's fair.
How many rounds of coals for the Alien Flashback Bowl? 2? No, I stick to 1.
Yeah, I usually do one.
When I clean my heat management device, it's always dunzo. Like, there's no way I'm going 2 rounds. So if you want a 1 round, 1 round bowl, that's a great bowl to have in your collection. But if you're looking for 2, it's not something that's gonna please you.
Yeah, I wouldn't go more than. I mean, maybe 2 rounds of flats, but not 2 rounds of cubes. Generally, when I'm talking about rounds of coals, I'm talking about cube coals, because that's basically all I use. Rob on YouTube says Orange Sevilla coffee is better than all. Sorry, not sorry. You know, I would.
It's very good.
It is. It is so good. It is a great flavor. I just like a more pure coffee, I guess. Like I like coffee, like Morning Glory. So
it's a more specialty coffee.
8 Round Shock on Twitch says Morning Glory is just chocolate that sat beside a coffee once. I didn't realize this was going to be a stream talking about coffee flavors, but you know, whatever works.
Morning Glory is definitely more chocolatey than Mean Java. Mean Java is more of a natural black coffee. Well, Morning Glory definitely has that chocolatey flavor to it. I definitely noticed that.
Yeah, absolutely. Ah, damn! I need to try Mean Java. Then I love.
Okay, but it didn't sit besides a coffee pot. You know, it's a good flavor. Why are you talking trash?
You shit talking Morning Glory, dude. 8 Round Shock, just all.
Yeah, I must have smoked a kilo of Morning Glory already. It's a good flavor.
Yeah. I go through it. Cuckoo Kashu says I haven't had many coffee flavors. Morning Glory, I mostly use a mixer. Fumari Mochaccino is mean though. Did you get to try that?
I want to try that soon.
They sent it to me before it was released. and like just wanted feedback on it, and it was so good, dude. I went through that 100 gram in like a week. It was
You
like
mean like 50 grams, right?
no, it was 100. No, it was 100.
Yeah, it's kind of like a 50 gram.
No, that's old Fumari. New Fumari is definitely solid 100 grams, or at least like 80 grams and 20 juice. But
We got like 80 grams going in the bag.
yeah. But anyway, mochaccino is like it's like a Starbucks coffee. Like if you got iced coffee from Starbucks, that is exactly what it tastes like. It's good.
Iced coffee?
Yeah, it fits
I'm definitely gonna have to try
It fits Fumari's flavor style, I guess, where they make really poppy flavors. Is it just makes sense for them to make it. Like it literally tastes like a Starbucks thing. When I think of like Fumari, I see Fumari as kind of like the Starbucks of hookah. They make great stuff, but it's very poppy and it appeals to the masses. And there's nothing wrong with that because that's just what they're going for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. 8 Round Shock said Morning Glory is fantastic with citrus flavors. I haven't tried it with citrus flavors because I don't think that I would. I don't buy many citrus flavors in general, but if I would, I don't think I would think to make that kind of mix, but maybe I should.
Well, I mean, think about Orange Sevilla
Just to give it
coffee.
a shot.
That's literally citrus
That's
coffee.
true. That's true. That it could be very good, but I mixed it with their mint, the what's sorry, I'm a little drunk, so
Who's
we'll ignore that fact.
who's mint?
Their mint is very good mixed with Morning Glory.
Who?
Gotta say that.
Trifecta's mint?
Yeah,
Twice?
the dark line.
Oh, dirty mint?
Yeah, no, definitely not that one.
I was about to say, what are you talking about?
Not that one.
Well, fuck, what's the name of it? Death by Ice.
Death by Ice. Yeah, Death by Ice is pretty good mixed with that. All right, John. We'll see you later.
Tell Sean to call me, you bitch.
Yeah, tell him to call me too. I'm waiting.
We're both waiting eternally. A life of waiting on Sean. Feels bad, man.
Feels okay. At least we got hit up.
Yeah, that's true. All right, well, we're about done with the stream. We've got a few minutes left, so if you guys have any last-minute questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. If you have any recommendations for fixing the stream or doing anything better in the future, definitely drop those in the chat. And John is also waiting on Sean. Later, John. Good luck.
We'll see you later, buddy.
Sean's busy posting his knees on the groups. You're right. But he is the bee's knees, to be fair.
Well, yeah. If you have like a solid comment, there's definitely things we can improve on. This is only our second stream, so please let us know. We definitely want to make it as good as possible.
Barrett on Twitter
said
regarding bowls. You can go.
You say it.
Okay. Regarding bowls, what type of new spires would you like to see?
Spires.
I'd like to see actually more restricted spires. I think because there's a lot of wide ass bowls. There's not as many restricted bowls like the Tangier's Pico or Tangier Small. Restricted bowls because they have smaller spires.
Oh, I can pull that out.
Yeah.
Look at how small this spire is.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, since like 2015, spires that are large have become the regular.
Yeah, and I actually, and it makes sense why they're wide. Because if you have a wider spire, it's actually taking up less room. And if you look in this, the spire on this is wider, and it's helping mitigate how much tobacco you're packing in the bowl. So I get why that's a thing, and it's actually a smart thing for a lot of bowl companies to do. But I would like to see smaller spires, I guess.
I think the biggest purpose of a larger spire is it allows you to restrict it how you would prefer, rather than being stuck with one set way.
Yeah, absolutely. Optimus says, how many calls was that for the alien flashback? And the stream is great, but deviation goes a little too far at times. Yeah, we're definitely going on some tangents, but that's all right. I don't mind.
It's because people keep asking questions, and we want to answer them.
Yeah.
But we can try and not keep it, because we didn't talk about bowls as much as we were hoping to, but we'll try and keep it short, brief.
Yeah.
For the next time.
As far as coals on the alien flashback, right now I'm using 2 cubes in the Provost. I've got a third chilling if I need it. I might add it, I might not. We'll see. Generally just 3 at most. 2 on it at a time. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I have a good idea. How about for the next stream in 2 weeks, we try and keep people asking questions for the specific topics for the first 40 to 45 minutes, and then we can answer other questions.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. And if you guys have any things you want us to talk about on the next podcast, definitely let us know that too. Tangents for Tangiers. That is accurate, Derek.
Tangents for Tangiers is big facts. So yeah, if you have any specific topics you want us to talk about, we can definitely talk about many topics for a very long period of time. And it's much easier for us if we know what you guys want us to be talking about. So just let us know what you guys want us to talk about, and we can get that moving.
If not, we'll do the same thing we did this week and think of something that's really easy to talk about for a long period of time that we both like a lot, like bowls.
Yeah, eventually we're going to have to be very creative with what we're going to be talking about. For now, we can keep it with the basics. But if you have any specific things, we'd love to be able to pique your interest. Rob said we should talk about hookah restriction and modern versus traditional hookah. We're going to do that next week, or 2 weeks from now. That's going to be our next topic. We're definitely going to make our stream about that.
Skitten.
How about that?
Skitten says, any tips on not getting drunk off the hookah? Don't put...
Skeleton.
Sorry. Don't put alcohol in your base.
Oh, that's a good idea. Don't do that. Milk could get you, a little messed up too,
Only if you're drinking fight milk.
Or bagged milk.
Alright, but that's going to about do it for us this week, guys. Again, if you weren't here at the beginning, we do have a YouTube channel up and running for the Hookah Smiths now, so go follow us on that, subscribe, because we're trying to get to 100 subs. When we get to 100 subs, we can make a custom URL, because we're tilted that we don't have that. But yeah, do that. Let us know if you have anything else. You can always hit us up, PM us, drop an @ in the r/hookah Discord server, because we're both around there most of the time. And yeah, thank you guys so much for joining. Do you have any closing words?
Be sure to join the Hookah Discord, because even if you don't browse the Reddit page for hookah stuff, it'd be great if you're able to be there to talk to us. It's a very fun time, and there's a lot of people that like to talk about hookah stuff. And like I said, even if you aren't active in the Reddit hookah community, there's a lot of people that are willing to talk to you about hookah all the time.
Yeah.
So please join that. I might drop a link to that at some point.
If not,
I'm there all the time.
There's a link in the subreddit as well if you ever want to check it out.
I think we should maybe put a link to that somewhere on our page, and then people could definitely join it and talk to us a little bit more often.
Yeah, we'll put a link in in our channels. So yeah, that's gonna about do it for us, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks everyone for talking to us and not letting us just ramble for an hour long. But yeah, peace out, guys. Thanks for joining the Hookah Smiths. Have a good night. Later.
See you in 2 weeks.